Right, hello everybody, and apologies for that. We had a couple of issues with stream and stuff like that. It was supposed to be the Bulls game, but now we're doing the Scarlets versus Stormers game. And just switched over. The Stormers just scored, actually, through Ben Loader. So a nice solid start here for John Dobson's men. Desperate to get a result today, because a loss today would mean that their ambition to finish that top 8 in the URC, not even ambition, it's a minimum, isn't it, really, of what they have to do, would be looking a little bit sketchy. So... yeah, it's a big game, and it's a good solid start, and it's a tough tour the Stormers have got. But the big thing for them today is they've got some big names back, and none other than the likes of Sash Zulu, for example. France Mahobin needs to have a big performance. Dame Blitz coming off the bench as well. So if you're a Springbok fan as well, eagerly watching this game to see the kind of form these players are in, as Sash Zulu takes that ball over the top and is under a little bit of pressure. Ball bobbles up to Herschel Yankees, and Sal Murat brings that up. So it's a solid Stormers side. Lots and lots of Springboks in it. And they now need to start showing that they're worth there. The ball goes in behind. That's a nice solid tackle. They ball him behind and Joseph Zebre on it. Now a bit of a break. It's a good ball on the second side. Scarlets on the front foot. They lost it forward though. Now Sash Zulu. Can he counter attack? Gets that chicken wing pass out. That's a brilliant pass out to Ruben van here. And he looks to straighten, yeah. Now showing goal from Watchalong. This could be try number 2. He's got options both sides. He pops it into one to see the Similani. Similani's got a lot to do, but he steps around his player. And another step in, but he still goes Similani. Oh, it's back inside. He's just short. One cycle, and they should be able to go over. Ruben van here. Chicken wing pass, working up, throws the big dummy, and then he goes short. And Dion Currie will start it. That is absolutely brilliant from the Stormers. Champagne rugby at its best, and all from Watchalong really initially. It's a brilliant pass earlier on from Zulu, and but after that, I tell you what, they turned it up, and that is proper rugby. He tried the dummy to Watchalong and then just popped it short to Dion Currie. And the veteran has said he's got a new lease on life, because he didn't expect to be part of that Springbok alignment camps, didn't really expect to sort of feature for Rassie Erasmus. And after getting that call-up, says that is something that he wants to work on. He wants to put the Reunion Gold on. Again, he hasn't retired officially or anything like that, but obviously looking at his age profile, unlikely for him to feature in the next World Cup, and therefore kind of you think that he's probably not going to be featuring again. But I think the main thing is that the Boks will never bin a player. You know, they just generally don't do that. They like to phase players out necessarily, and at the end of the day, I think the Boks are also very much, if you're good enough, you know, you're old enough, or you're not too old. And I think that's also a very important way of doing about it. You know, previously we've seen conversations about players who are too young playing, but there's also conversation about players who are too old. And, you know, I think that if a player is still bringing value and stuff like that, I don't think it really matters about the age. I think we get far too fixated about bringing in youth that we forget to... we forget how important, you know, experience is in the side. So we're good to see Dion Currie back and playing some good rugby, and good to see the Stormers 2 tries after almost 20 minutes. They need a bonus point try, so yeah, that's a nice start, really. Joseph Zebre on that ball being told to leave it. He's leaving at the end of the season. A lot of the Stormers fans don't seem to be too upset about that. I think they will miss... Well, I think if you're a true Stormers fan, I think you will know you'll miss Joseph Zebre. Very good scrummaging hooker. Yes, he's had his issues at line time, but he's a very good player in the tight phase. And now there's a bit of space up front. And down towards the 22 goes the Scarlets before he gets bundled out. Does Ellis Me. Bit of afters as well coming from the players. So 12 points to nil after about 20 odd minutes. And what are you guys thinking? You know, what's the chat show? What are the score predictions? What do we think we're going to see here? Who are we excited to see more? Yeah, Damian Willemse or Sash Zulu? I mean, we've seen Sasha throughout the season, so the main thing we want to see out of him is to get to the end of the game without any injury, because that's kind of his problem, hasn't he? He's been permanently injured this season. When it comes to Damian Willemse, That's where I think we want to see kind of, does he still have the pace? How fit is he really? Not like he's not going to be able to bring the pace back, but does he still have the raw pace now? Is he going to have to sort of really build up full fitness and the likes of that, because he's been working very hard off the pitch, but we don't know how fit he is. We don't know how what kind of form he's in as well. So yeah, very excited to see how he goes later when he comes on. It'd be also very interesting to see where he comes on. It's a good line being run by Evan Lewis. He's also a man who's back in the mix. So yeah, I think the Six Nations came at a good time for the Stormers. They also didn't play too many games. The Lions, for example, had to catch up 3 games during the Six Nations, whereas the Stormers had a lot of those weeks off, and that's allowed them to get players back on the park, such as a Dan du Plessis, for example, an Evan Ruins, the likes of that. So it's a very solid squad that's playing over today, and if they can get off to a bonus point win over in Wales, that'd be the perfect start to the tour. A bit of a test up here for Sash Famagabazulu. It's not backwards, or for Scarlets, but into the hands of Deon Fourie, who gets the offload as well, away to Ben Loader, who's also making the move back to the Premiership at the end of the season as he tries to find his way back into the England setup. Now, long pass out wide to Warwick. This is where he's so dangerous, with a bit of space. Stepping around as Warwick and loses the ball forward. Trying to get his hands to the tackle there to try and find the offload unsuccessfully. Now back in the pocket and goes to the boot there, does Owen Lord. Sasha underneath it. It takes it well, right up against the touchline, puts it onto his right boot. It's a very, very clever kick. Had no room to work with. Just puts it on his boot, and it'll eventually run out just by the 22. So an intelligent kick that coming from Sasha. And lots of eyes will be on him today in terms of just staying fit. Comes back, gets injured. One was a collision, so you're not too worried about that. It's more the muscular injuries you kind of start to worry about. A collision injury is it comes with the game, But he just went on a bit of a run of consistent injuries, which is why everyone was starting to get a little bit nervous about whether he's ready really, and his body's coping with the demands of the rugby at the moment. But he's come back and showed a bit of form as well going into the box season, because there's plenty of opportunities for him to get some games. It's a good rolling maul there, and does very well. A bit of a breakaway maul to throw himself into the tackle and bring them down. And that's spilled forward there from Ben Low. That's pretty poor, though. And pops up from the Scarlets. Good hands now. Not the best part, but that's very good, Jeff, from the Scarlets. And they're just throwing the ball around, hoping something happens. And eventually it's nailed in behind. I think that's by Owen Lloyd. That's a really good kick. That'll be a fun touch inside the 22. So smart play that from the Scarlets. Right, just show you had a bit of a check in there, and Sash Famagabazulu, it's not straight there from the line for the Stormers. It's really, really poor, and it'll be a scrum. Miscommunication there going short there. John Dobson looks pretty bemused, as he often does. Very nervous watcher of rugby games is John Dobson. So defensive scrum now for the Stormers. Opportunity here for the home side. Not the biggest home crowd over in Wales, but not terrible. But now they've got a very good opportunity. Attacking scrum inside the 22 on the far right hand side. Lots of space on the left to work with. So now goes himself here, does Lloyd. Met by Evan Ruiz. Short. Now going short. Once again, yeah, the Scarlets. Good work this from them. Quick ball here from Gareth Davies. Ball back inside, and it's Sam Lousy. He gets hammered back and lost backward, not forward, says the referee. So it'll be a scrum for Stormers. It's a frustrating time, I think, yeah, for Welsh rugby in general. And we've seen some really good performances from certain of their side. I think Cardiff was very lucky last night to win. I'm a very Grand Prix Lions supporter, to be perfectly honest. I think there were a couple of really poor decisions which impacted the game a lot. But their regions threaten to be competitive, and they threaten to start improving. But there's just so much work to do. I think they don't really know where to begin. I think that's probably their hardest thing to deal with at the moment, is the fact that there's so much to fix. Where do you start? And it's basically open heart surgery is probably the best way of having to describe it. So basically back to basics and trying to find the positives here for Welsh rugby, but they got to try and look to the future whilst trying to get competitive as soon as possible. No sort of straightforward answer in terms of how to fix it. Right, big scrum needed from Scarlets. There's another attacking scrum. They've got options to the left and right. Gareth Davies got on the right-hand side. Goes himself there, does Eddie James. A pretty solid carry as well. But over the ball there was Herschel Yankees. Now on the right-hand side, they've got some numbers. And the ball bounces backwards to Via Fafita, who's lost it forward now. So I think knock-on advantage for the Stormers. They'll be able to get themselves out of this. It's very well defended in the end. And all the eventually goes Batsasha Gomazulu. He's got plenty of time to go. I think Gareth Davies went a bit early and knew he was offside. So he's got plenty of time to hammer the ball downfield. He does. And ball back inside. Oh, it's a huge hit coming from Salman Murat. And I think that in the process, I think one of the Stormers has gone down in a heap here. I want to say it's Dan du Plessis. We're going to have a substitution here for the Stormers. This could be David Willemse on. I think it's Dan du Plessis, given the fact that I'm pretty sure it's a backline player and he's blonde. And I don't know if he's collided with Salman Murat as he's come in to join, or it's the tackle itself. But he hasn't moved, and I think he's been knocked clean out. The scrum, I believe, was not straight. They went short, but so I don't know if it's a case of it didn't go 5 or they deemed it not straight. It's a bit of a grey area at the moment, that whole contesting for the line out, and then they throw it short to try and sort of indicate that they haven't contested because they haven't gone up. And that's something that they're having to, well, still, I still don't think there's a lot of consistency on that officiating, to be perfectly honest. Right, so 12-0 of 27 minutes. Stormers fans, what are your predictions? What are we saying? What would be a good score here for the Stormers? Look at the tries there, Ben Loader in the corner there, and then Dion Free finishing what was a terrific try earlier. And John Dobson will be feeling a bit relieved after that start. He's a bit nervous now with the substitution that's about to happen. Especially when you got somebody like, if it is, I think it is Andrew Bassi. We haven't really seen him. I think if it is, then we're going to see Dame Williams onto the park. Then, not really at that situation. You kind of want to be able to bring on Dame Williams, 20 minutes to go type of thing. Unless he's going to remain on here, is Dan du Plessis. He's back up. Surely he's going to have to go for an HIA. No. They're happy for him to stay on. It was Dan du Plessis that was on down, but it looks like he's going to stay on. So in terms of your bench here for Stormers, it's Andrew Hugo Fenter, Brock Harris, Sazi Sandy, Gary Porter, Willie Engelbrecht, Deval Duvenaka, Yuri Mattia, and Damian Willemse. So is Dion Free actually going off here? So I think it was actually, it might have been Dion Free that was down. Well, the reason I say it is because Andrew just stood up here. But I think I want to say it was Dion Free going. Also, Willie Engelbrecht is on. Pierre reckons Stormers by 40. It's quite a lofty goal, but I like the confidence. Right, scrum for Scarlets. Down the right hand side is Humphrey. Ball in behind. Coming across here, Sasha, and he just bundles it out really. It's good. It's well worked by Scarlets. And it'll be a line out for them. It's really, really clever, actually. They just go on the right-hand side, pick up and go, coming from Tame Plumtree. And the ball in behind with Max Page chasing down towards Sash Van Gomez, who's got no other option, really, than to just he's trying to carry it into touch, but he actually couldn't gather it. So he basically, in the end, just basically knocked it into touch. But there's no other option for him. And they've managed to find about 50 meters of Scarlets and attacking line as well. They're about 10 meters out. So big opportunity now for them to have a real good go. That's really well worked. Evan Ruiz is on the other side, but it's not going to get pinged for running away. Stormers need to try and slow this ball down. Yeah, it's good defense so far from the Stormers. Ball pops up, and Sam Losey has a go. Speak up and go coming now from minus from the Merva, who would have been on the part of the online BOC camps, alignment camps. Tell you what, he would be a good player to try and get back to South Africa for a couple of the sides. Somebody I wish the Lions would have the ability to go and sign. Ball available here for Scarlets. No penalty advantage. They go into their 9th phase. They're over, but is the ground, recycle it back, and now they're just short. They've just recycled it surely down the left-hand side, and they're over. They are over. It was inevitable with the pick-up and go. There was so much space, and as the Stormers suddenly realized and try to scramble, it wasn't quick enough. And Ellis Me has gone over into the corners. The Scarlets are back, and with 10 minutes to go, the home side finally gets some points on the board. And it's a pretty good kick as well. So the extras I added. And that all of a sudden makes things quite even. I mean, it was pretty one-way traffic really for the Stormers until about the last sort of 5-6 minutes. Scarlets have done well to weather the early storm and re-exert pressure. Now, Stormers ideally need to try and get a try before half-time. Try and re-establish that momentum as Sash Zulu hammers it down the centre of the park. In fact, he's gone so long there. Oh, no, he's knocked it backwards. He's managed to make up for it eventually, I think, has Owen Lloyd. He's got back. But his clearance has gone out about 10 meters past. This is brilliant for the Stormers. We suddenly got a 10-meter line out. Just got his positioning completely wrong. Managed to keep it inside, but he's so far deep in his own goal line. Everyone is bearing down on him, and he slices his clearance kick. So it's the perfect opportunity for the Stormers to try and reply with a try of their own. Now Sasha looking for options. Goes for the cross kick. He's turned the play and Ben Loader can't gather. Can't gather. If he had, he would have been over. The time, sorry, there it is. It's about 8 minutes left in the first half. It wasn't working earlier, which is why it's disabled. But yeah, now we're good. Stormers with the penalty advantage. They go back to the corner. Going to the back of the line. Now it's good take that from Marcel Tennyson. Thought he stood out really well for Evan Rose when he was deputizing at 8. Now Dan du Plessis at first receiver. Good work that from him. Nice solid carry. 2-3 minutes out here for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees goes to Joseph Dweber. Joseph Dweber. Ball goes down and forward. Well, penalty. It's actually not got an advantage. They actually haven't blown the whistle yet. So a bit of space here. And that's going to be kicked dead, I think. They'll go back for the line. Should be the Stormers' line, actually. So in the end, them playing has actually suited them. Because the kick from Nicholas has gone into touch and it was advantage over as soon as he kicked it. So not the worst result for the Stormers. Joseph Dweber caught in the ball there. That's a great angle being ran by Dan du Plessis, but they've done well to make tackle. And penalty for the Scarlets going over the field at the breakdown. Monis van der Merwe is there as well. I tell you what, we got to find a way to get Monis van der Merwe back and playing in South Africa. He's such a talented player, being really good for the Scarlets. He's only obviously just got over, hasn't been there for very long, but on the block radar, I think the right contract brings him back. Because he's got the opportunity to potentially play for the Boks. So yes, he only had one season. But Alliance, for example, he'd be absolutely perfect. To start week in, week out, he'd be playing under Rassie Erasmus's nose. It's exactly what I would love to see happen, but it's exactly what happened to the Lions, because unfortunately they are incapable of making something like that, because that would actually be a really good sign. But you can see how so quickly over the ball. He's a really good breakdown through. He's an all-around good hooker, actually. That's why he's in the alignment camp. I think he's the only player in the alignment camp that doesn't play rugby regularly in South Africa that hasn't actually been capped yet. Not 5 meters goes the call there, so I think we're going to have another one, another scrum, yeah. This is held up right by the line, and Marnus van der Merwe's got the ball, and he's still going. It's just Marnus van der Merwe. Eventually managed to bring it down. I don't know how they managed to keep that in at the Scarlets. The ball is available. Now Tame Plumtree. Scarlets with ball in hand by the 10-meter line. Down the right-hand side, Lloyd. Nice carry being coming from Eddie James. On the right-hand side, Lloyd again goes inside to Sam Lousy. That is Josh McLeod. It's a horrible pass there to Nicholas. Yes, try and clean up. And now a bit of space here for the Scarlets. Stormers scrambling. It's a horrible, horrible pass in the end at the feet of Via Fafita, and he knocks it on. Can't hold on to it. It's all become a little bit scrappy in the last few minutes. I think if this is a better pass, that's a horrible pass from Joe Roberts. That's a better pass to Via Fafita. He's deceptively fast and a really good skill set. We also saw it from a ship and chase try a few years ago. It was phenomenal from Via Fafita. Right, scrum here now for the Stormers. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Can they maybe find something before half time? And all Scarlets the last few minutes after they managed to weather a storm. So it's been trading blows here, as you kind of expect. Wouldn't say one team has been predominantly the better side, to be perfectly honest. I think they've dominated in about 5 minutes sort of periods and pretty evenly so far. But with 2 minutes left on the clock, Stormers score before half time, take some momentum in. That's a nice score. That's a very good scrum from the Stormers here. Penalty advantage as well. If we roll the dice, down to Duplessis. To Sashfama Gomezulu. Long pass wide. That's gone horrendously forward. Warwick had set up a nice little 2-on-1, but they'll have to go back for the forward pass. Penalty. Well, back for the penalty. We're on the halfway line, and late opportunity for Stormers to maybe have a go at the line, but a few meters further. Trying to throw that long locked pass with Sashfama Gomezulu, and it was forward out of his hand, always going forward. And back he goes. So a minute left on the clock. This is a good position for Stormers to be in because unlikely for them to concede points at this stage unless there's a runaway try. But Sasha can get them where? I think he's just outside the 22. It's a pretty good kick with not much angle. Joseph David not happy about the gap that's been created by the Scarlets. Referee say that he's not standing on the mark. That's a bit of sun that's come out over at Llanelli. It's good to take that from Master Tennyson. Joseph Derby goes and joins the maul. We're not getting too much momentum just yet on their wayside. Now they've gone a few meters. And the ball comes out and goes to Ben Loader. Ben Loader gets past 1. Ben Loader gets past 2. Ben Loader still going, gets his hands through the tackle, and he gets it away to Dan Duplessis. Into the 22 now. Pick up and go from Evan Nurse. He's half a gap. Evan Nurse gets past a couple of players. 5 minutes out now, the Stormers. To the left-hand side. Paul pops up. Oh, I tell you, it was almost a knock-on and knock forward here. Sash Gomezulu is going to go clean up. Now he looks trying straight and find a bit of space, and he runs into the prop. And Scarlets still alive here, the Stormers. Herschel Yankees. Oh, it's the numbers game, and it's the knock forward from Warwick Lunt. And the referee says stop. Is this going to be half time or is there a penalty? There was a penalty advantage. And yeah, Sash Famagomazoo's got a blood full of face here. Was there head contact? That will be the question. We might have to have a check here because Sash Famagomazoo looks like he's broken his nose almost. It's just blood all the way over that front region here. And where is this tackle here? Yeah, I think he bails out of this tackle. Does Alec Hepburn? I don't think there's any arms of tackle whatsoever. That angle doesn't really show us anything. Yeah, we're gonna have a look here. Could be a yellow card here for the Scarlets. It'll be interesting to see what the Stormers do with the penalty. It's right by the pole, so they can take the 3. But with momentum, they'll probably also be thinking about trying to go for the try. Get 3 tries in, go into half time with 1 try needed for the bonus point. To be a good position for them to be in, as the referee has to go all the way to the other side to check the screen. I mean, surely... No, wait, it's the TV on the side. Surely we can get the TV in the middle of the park. So you can see it straightens here to Sash Famagomazoo, and then he's not even anywhere near them as Alec Hepburn. He just basically bails out of the tackle and just drops his shoulder into it. No, man, that's a horrendous tackle. And he just basically drops his shoulder and dives into him. Drops his head as well. Yeah, we're going to see a yellow card, yeah, so I can put the yellow card on the screen. That's a pretty awful tackle, to be honest. They can't really have too much complaint there, I think, in the Scarlets. And he'll go into the bin just for half time. It's a dreadful tackle, and a yellow card there for Scarlets. So, decision time now for the Stormers. Do they take the 3, go in 15 points to 7, or do they pop it out and try have it go whilst Alec Hepburn is out? Do they maybe look to take a scrum potentially even? Now, taking the 3 points. Being nice and safe here, the Stormers. I think it was his eyebrow that was cut there with Sash Famagomazoo. Couple of words between him and somebody else there, and into the dugout they go. Right, Stormers with a good half, 15 points to 7. Probably could have been more for the Stormers actually, but they will start the second half with a man in the bin. I think that's probably the big news of the half. So we'll be back very, very shortly. Please don't go away. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and we'll see you guys in a bit. And we're back. Sorry about that. A couple of issues on my side, but we're back for the second half. And I'm not quite sure my camera's gone. That's a bit better. And 50 points to 7. So we haven't missed any points, which is, I think, the main thing. Welcome back for the second half. And yeah, big half to come from the Stormers. They've got 2 tries. They need a bonus point to try to win, really, if they're going to try and get anything out of this URC season. So yeah, big 45 or 40 minutes to come. Well, 35 to come. That's what I was getting at. But Scarlets score next, and all of a sudden they're right back in it, and they're on the attack here with the sun fully out there over Llanelli. Stormers score next with a bonus point. I think that they probably got on to get the result, but need to remain disciplined to the Stormers. Unlike there, where they can see an early penalty because they're actually busy playing against a 14-man Scarlets side who got a yellow card just before half time. So they've got the opportunity here to really have a go at them, and yet not quite working so far. And going for the larger of the Scarlets, they're just trying to sort of really run that clock down and try and make sure they can get their player back on the park without having to see any points, allocate more points, because they've already conceded the 3 just before half time. During the half time, we had a couple of comments. So Rob Moore saying should have gone for the 3rd try before half time while they had a man in the bin. And Ruben said, Rob, rather go for the 3 when we can go for the bonus point for now, take the points on offer. Yeah, I think it's 6 for half and 1 for the other. You know, I think there's a certain amount of merit for both, to be honest. I can understand taking a 3. It was a very straightforward 3, and things were a little bit sketchy. But there's also, you know, lost a prop. Can they give it a go? Scored a try. They'd scored a try for half time. The amount of momentum they would have had. Whereas now, for example, as Marnus van der Merwe gets away from a few defenders, they're on top here, Scarlets. And if they score over here, whilst a man down, that'll be the perfect patch to play for them. Conceded 3. What can they score? Go short, just over, and he's over. It's Nicholas. Yeah, he is. He is. He reaches and he's over. Well, that's an absolute disaster for the Stormers. We spoke about what they needed to do, the Stormers, and that was to try and score whilst they had a man advantage. What they didn't need to do was concede, and that's exactly what they have done. I'll tell you what, they bided their time, the Scarlets, but they had so much momentum over, and that's, as I said, that's an absolute disaster, really, for the away side. And all of a sudden, Scarlets are 1 point behind. They've conceded 4 points despite being a man up. And that, my friends, is why the Stormers have struggled so far this season, because they just switch off far too easy. It's far too easy to score against them, and all of a sudden, once again, you know, an opportunity where they should have really put themselves well ahead, they've actually allowed a team back. And I mean, you think of some of the games that they've lost, and it's been horrible. I mean, that game against the Bulls, for example, that one, me in particular, was a really poor game to have lost. And if they lose to this, I think it'll be really poor as well, given the fact that they had a 12-point advantage and then had an opportunity against 14 men, and now they've conceded a penalty, and that allows them to clear. So they've not exploited the 1-man advantage at all. Tell you what, Marnus van der Merwe, I don't know if it's because he's playing against the South African side, but he has been absolutely terrific today. He's been really good. If anybody was wondering what Rassie Erasmus sort of sees in Marnus van der Merwe, well, he's showing you today. He's been brilliant. He's been good at the set piece, been good at the breakdown. He's got himself around the park. He's worked really hard. It's been a very impressive performance for him so far. bit of a stop and play. Yeah, the referee wants to have another conversation with the hookers. They've struggled a little bit with the line gaps here, have they, so far today? The referee not happy with the teams, the way they've lined up there. It's a good line, though. They're coming from the Scarlets. Barnes van der Merwe does his job well. Ball back at the end for Gareth Davies. Looking for options. Gareth Davies goes to the boot. While taken from Ben Loader up here. Interested to see what the bench is going to look like for the Stormers when they deploy. Because there's a couple of nice big players to come on later. Under Hugo Venter one. I think it'll be interesting to see when David Willemse gets released. We've got Ville Engelbrecht on. I don't think Deon Free came back on the Parc, so I think he stayed off. Yeah, it is Ville Engelbrecht. Just got in the timing wrong there. Does that find Zulu? And Nicholas, the try scorer, has done pretty well. He's thrown the ball back, and yeah, it's going to be a knock on there from the Stormers. Not a penalty against Hershey Yankees, who's on the floor in an offside position, but was never really given the chance to retreat. I think just trying to almost sort of buy the penalty a little bit there. So in the end, they've got the scrum, they've got the Scarlets, and they're also back to a full contingent. Yeah, I think it would have been harsh to penalise Hershey Yankees. He didn't really have much to do. Been loading getting a bit of treatment. So yeah, if we look at the Stormers bench, it is Andrew Hugo Venter, Brock Harris, Sazi Sandi. Sazi Sandi is someone who's never really lived up to expectations, former SA under 20 prop. Andrew Hugo Venter, obviously Cat Springbok. And Gary Porter's a nice young player. Dale Duanock got plenty of experience. Youe Mathieu, not a lot of experience, but then Damian Willemse, absolutely world class when he's on his day. And yeah, I think that if he can get back to his full fitness, I think he's obviously starting 15 for the box, but he needs to get back to that kind of form that he was at the World Cup. Right, options, yeah, and you go to the right hand side, you have the Scarlets. Popped up short, and it's been knocked on there, I think, from Similani, but just a knock on. Tame Plumtree coming away with it, handing off Daniel Zas, and a bit of space there for Plumtree. He gets his hands away into the hands of Warwick Galant, but the advantage was over, so Billy Engelbrecht now past the halfway line. Storm's opportunity to counter. Warwick Galant uses it, goes to Sash Famagomazulu. He sees a bit of space on that right hand side. He's gone to the boot, hasn't really caught it as well as he wanted, and it will be marked by Nicholas. Not sure it's the right option there from Sasha. Right, Josh Drever makes way, as does Ali for Mark. So on comes Brock Harris and Andrew Hugo Venter. So line there from the Stormers, looking for the front foot at the maul. Popping up there, Salman Murat to Marcel Tunis, the ball available, and Salman Murat pops it up to Evan Lewis. Bit of a fumble, but he does hold on to it well. Brock Harris there to secure the ball. Good momentum this year from the Stormers. Ruben van Heerden gets pushed forward by Leon Zas, so he's been told you're going one way or another. Evan Lewis now. And once again, he's gone over the top there, Sasha. Not the right option, I don't think, and they've marked it. So he's just kicking too deep here, Sasha. It's twice now where they've forfeited possession by kicking too deep, and it's been marked. So it's frustrating, I think, now from the Stormers because they're getting momentum and then just kicking it away. He needs to rein that in. I don't mind the kick over the top as an option, but you either got to kick into space where they can't mark it, or you got to try and keep it shorter than the 22 where they can actually compete for the ball. Because at the moment, he's just chipping it over, and it's far too easy to compete for it. 25 minutes left on the clock here on a Saturday evening. Elsewhere, by the way, the Bulls are, let's have a look. Bulls currently down 3 points to 10 at Loftus. Sorry, 17 points to 6 at Loftus. Arkestema, by the way, scoring the first try there. And why is it not showing us the live scores? It's really poor. And 18 points to 11. Edinburgh up against Benton. Not helpful if you're a Lions fan. I need Edinburgh to lose that game. Salman Murat doing well and get a lot of Scarlets players needed to bring him down. And it's charged down and knocked backwards to Dan Duplessis. Sasha goes short to Leon Zas. Leon's best with a bit of space. And he sits down one. Up to 22 here, the Stormers go. Ball available for Hershey Yankees. Oh, dear, he just delayed the pass and he's been blocked as Villiers. He's complaining about it. I think that's fair play, to be honest. And now the counter-attack could be on because he misses the tackle that is Ben Loader. Gets his hands away, then Nicholas comes back inside. Nicholas gets brought down by Ben Loader, comes back and does well. Turnover ball here for the Welsh. Tell you, the last 5 minutes have really come alive. Now David's looking at options. Goes to the boot. Couple of chases, but free catch. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a horrible catch there from Sash Famagabazuli. Put himself under a necessary amount of pressure. Gives it back to Duplessis. Gets it away to Hershey Yankees. Back to Warwick-Land. Now Warwick-Land looking for options. Drifting. Long pass out wide. Over the top. I want to see a Similani. This is comedy errors from the Stormers. It's absolutely dreadful. And now deep inside their 22. How they managed to get themselves back in their own 22. Now around the side there. And that's well played by Sasha Amazuni. He puts his head down. He's yelling at the touch referee. Not sure why. Not sure what his issue is, though. He's not happy about something, though, Sasha Amazuni. It was a clever play there by Max Page. He just wanted to put the grabber in behind and give it chase. Oh, he's saying that it should be a Stormers line-out. It should be actually a Stormers line-out. In fairness, he's got a good point. And here comes Damian Willemse. Exciting times. Very, very exciting times. Let's see what he's got to do. He's going to have a good 23-minute run out here. So that's a nice sort of amount of time as well. And Duvenog's also going to see out the last 23 minutes. So Hershey Yankees is replaced. And Davis is intercepted. That's phenomenal work. I don't know how they've done that. For the first pass Nog has done, it's been intercepted. Now the Scarlets on the front foot. Scarlets just short. He's lost it forward though. He tried to push it back, but lost it forward just as well. That's heart and mouth stuff, really. Garrett Davies is down receiving a bit of treatment.
If you want to permanently fix it.
And go back. He's back on his foot. Is Garrett Davies. Left hand side they go. It's good work. And the Scarlets 5 meters out now. Well, through the hands. And now kicked forward though. And having to go back and fetch her is... It's LSB, but he's into behind though. Oh, and then Watchalong knocked it on. As I said, at times, there's literally just been a comedy of error when it comes to this game. It's been bizarre. And there's going to be a penalty up for the push. I wondered about that earlier coming from the Stormers.
And that is what they say.
We're going to reset with the scrum yet. Just making sure my scoreboard and everything's working, because that's what I'm trying to sort out, because it doesn't seem to be pausing. But I think we're pretty good. Yeah, we're fine now. Right, so scrum down, yeah, for the Stormers. And Scarlets, unfortunately, knocking on there. It's a big scrum. It's overextending. We have to have a reset here. Right, so 90 minutes left on the clock, and 1 point game in it. Could go either way, to be honest. And Scarlets, tell you what, they've had really good in the second half. Stormers, I think, yet to really pitch up for the second half. So, need to get a lot better. Lots of room for improvement. Waiting for the reset here. And I mean, in terms of some of the stats, we'll have a look at the stats, a bit of a stat breakdown here. It tells an interesting story. I think the big thing is you can't look at the momentum, really. But carries are very similar, but Stormers' breakdown work, the turnovers lost has been really poor. 11 possession in the last 10 minutes has been 74% for the Scarlets. So they're absolutely dominating in that respect. The set pieces have been much better for the Stormers from a scrum point of view. The line's been slightly better for the Scarlets. That's another huge scrum. And no penalty coming, though, from the penalty. I mean, Evan Lewis can't believe it. He's holding the ball at the halfway line, saying, how have we pushed this 10 meters line, but there's no penalty. And the referee's having a word with Deval Duvenak, who obviously was asking for the penalty. And fair enough, really, given how far backwards they went. So, another opportunity, though. Stazzy Sunday and Brock Harris doing a good job now. On the attack, I mean, literally, up until this point, is 111 post-contact meters each. Similar line breaks as well. So not too much to separate them in terms of that. But I do think there's the 11 turnovers lost from the Stormers has probably been their Achilles heel today. They've lost possession far too easy. Penalties and C are pretty similar. Defensively pretty similar, which is why it's a 1-point game. But the one aspect of the game that the Stormers have been particularly poor in has been their ball retention. They've lost far too many silly turnovers as well. Cut that out, and all of a sudden I think that they would be in a much, much better position. This time, much more solid there from the square. There is a penalty advantage as the player goes down. It's on Sunday's side. So free roll the dice to Damien Willemse at first receiver. He puts it to Sashfam Gomezulu. One-handed catch. Pops it up to Damien Willemse. Fires out to Watchalong. I mean, the three of these two. I mean, that's... And then you want to see the Similani comes in. There's a lot of lateral movement. Not much going forward at the moment. Sashfam Gomezulu wants to chip over the top and sees a bit of space. And he will regather and puts it to the boot once again towards the left-hand side. It just will run out. It was a good option and a good idea from Sashfam Gomezulu. Not quite managing to pull it off. Bit of a wry smile on his face because he knows that if that stayed in, that would have been absolutely tremendous. It was the right option. Chip over the top, saw the space, managed to regather, and the first thing he does is drop it straight into the boot to the left-hand side towards a raging forward, Ben Loader, but just going out in front of him. And we'll go back for the penalty. And obviously, the easy option is just to pop it down into the corner here from Sash Farmer to get them as far down as possible. Go to the set piece, which has been pretty good, and launch from there. Substitutions here for the Scarlets in the front row, and Henry Thomas's last efforts in the game is going to be a penalty he's conceded. So he's been replaced by Gabe Hawley, the youngster. Opportunity now to try and show his worth. It looks like a very nice day over in Llanelli. Be a very nice day for the Stormers if they can get a victory. Ball pops up and Andrew Ugafenta comes around now. Ben Loda sees a play over Leon Sass, goes straight down the middle. That is so easy for the Stormers. It's appalling from the Scarlets, but the Stormers won't complain. They've needed a spark, and it comes in the form of Leon Zas. A set move, Andre Hugo Fender peels off, and then what a line being run by the wing. Like a hot knife through butter, he goes through. The Stormers hit back, and they get their first try in the second half. They've needed that. They've needed a moment like that. They've been desperately trying to wait for someone to create a spark. And it's one missed tackle, but running at that pace, you don't get caught. That's the thing. You will not get caught. And it just... The dummy runner coming from David Williams as well just creates that half gap. And he doesn't need a second invitation as Leon Zas. Straight through. He doesn't even get touched here. This could have been... He could have been playing touch rugby and he would have scored. It is brilliant work from the Stormers. When they turn on, they turn on. And that's exactly what they need. They've been under pressure. Scarlets have been coming back. And now, Sashfam Gomezulu pops it over for the extras. And that'll take it up to 22 points to 14. That's an interesting stat. Leon Zas has not scored a try this year. Has a wing to have waited until the 22nd mark to score your first try is not great, but very much needed, as was the... you can look a little bit chuffed there, John Dobson. Still looking very concerned. 22 points to 14, 40 minutes to play. That's a cushion. And more to the point, for the Stormers, they need one more try, and that's a bonus point. And a penalty now coming from the Stormers. That's silly. I think it's taking the man beyond the ruck. So a penalty for the Scarlets. Opportunity for them to hit back. A converted try. We'll still only have them 1 point back as Gareth Davies is down on his knee once again. He's been quite saw so far this half. He's had a lot of treatment. Might see a change here. The change on the bench would be him off for Archie Hughes. As Loy kicks towards the corner. Try and set up a line up for the Scarlets. The lines have been pretty good for the Scarlets. Miles van der Merwe has done a really, really good job so far. Right, past 22 meters. Opportunity here for the Scarlets. Ball towards the back, and it goes into the hands of Sam Lousy and peels to the left to right side. Bit of pressure, not too much go forward ball. Someone needs to try and get some forward momentum. And it comes through Ryan Elias. Welsh International. Now show and go coming now from Joe Roberts. He makes a meter or two. Into the 22 goes Scarlets. Inside ball. It's a brilliant line being run from Biofeed. He's looking for option, but nobody was there. Good tackle coming from Sadie Sunday. And now penalty advantage. Gareth Davies tried to throw the long pass. Sadie Sunday was in the way. Lazy running from the prop. And decision time now for the Scarlets. It's very, very kickable. They're right by the pole. So could take the 3 points. But you're 7 points behind with 12 minutes to go. You take the 3 points now. I hope you score a try. I personally think you try and go for the try now. Get yourself within that 1 point region. And then if you get a penalty in the last 10 minutes in a kickable position, then you can kick for the lead. But I think the kicking teams out there are going to take the points. First of all, get themselves within 3 points, I suppose. Get yourself some points on the board in terms of that losing bonus point, and give yourself an opportunity to try and win this later on in the match. In terms of the table, where Scarlets are, they're currently sitting in 10th position. A win would take them to 32 points, would actually push the Lions out. Push them down to past Edinburgh. Edinburgh currently leading, so Edinburgh set to overtake the Lions, so that would actually push the Lions down and out. The Stormers winning would also, to be fair, these two teams are currently tied on points, 5 wins apiece and a draw as well. So very even between these two teams, considering they played 12 games, 5 wins, 1 draw, 6 losses. Points differences better for the Scarlets. They've got a negative, points difference of 16, where Stormers have got a points difference of minus 21, but on the same amount of points. So whoever wins this will go ahead of the other. At the moment, the Scarlets have got a losing bonus point. That'll take them up to 29 points. That's not enough to go to the top 8. The Stormers with 4 points would go into top 8. They can get a bonus point higher, and they would actually go tied with Cardiff. They'll be behind them on and in fact, they'll actually go ahead of them on points difference as well, because Cardiff's sitting with minus 55 points difference. Bizarre for a team to be so high with such a bad points difference. And then the knock forward though from the Stormers, just as they were starting to find a bit of momentum, and another knock on. So need to be a little bit careful here from the Stormers. Ten minutes left. The final 10 minutes. It's been a bit of an up and down game here for Sash Zulu. Very much, I think, a rusty game. You know, he's had some good moments, had some poor moments. He looks like a player who's coming back from injury and hasn't played too much recently, which is fair. I'd like to see a bit more of Damien Willemse. Had a couple of decent touches. We haven't really managed to see him. But the main thing, I think, from a Springbok supporter's perspective, is to get him back out on the park and to get minutes into him. You know, you can do as much training as you want on the training ground. It's only when you start playing games do you really get that match fitness back. And a free kick from Scarlets. Quickly taken there from Gareth Davies inside zone 22. And he's going to launch that downfield. It will find touch. And it'll be a Stormers down to about 7 meters just past the halfway line inside Scarlets territory. An opportunity for them to attack from deep. But Scarlets, I think the big thing from them is to remain patient. And that is the Gareth Davies' final contribution. He'll be replaced now by Archie Hughes, who's a 22-year-old scrum off. Tommy Lewis onto the park as well. Quite a few youngsters in the Scarlets side. Tommy Lewis, 26 years old, not really one of the youngsters as such, but interesting to see how Archie goes. He replaces the evergreen Gareth Davies. Been around the block for a long, long time. You've also got the young fly half, Charlie Tacombe. Oh, I think he was actually in front there, was there on Zas, but hammered forward by Safan Zulu. It's a good take there from our Nicholas, the fullback. He's got a try to his name so far. And told to release him are Evan Lewis and Damien Willemse, Scarlets looking for options. To the left-hand side they go. And I don't know if that's actually been charged down. Swirling in the air. They want to see the Similani. Knocks it back. Playing on the wing now, Similani, with Willemse going into the centres. Knock it backwards there for Sash Famagomezulu. As I said, there's been a couple of soft moments for Sash Famagomezulu. That's not a bad kick, though. It's just standing inside. And if he had gone about 2 meters to the right, would have been out in the full. I think searched for that 50-22, but didn't quite have the legs on it. And barking a lot of instructions. Not particularly happy here is our Nicholas, the fullback for Scarlets. Eight minutes left on the clock. Stormers will be desperate for that bonus point. Even if they then lose later, I mean, to be fair, you get the bonus point try, you probably wrap the game up. But even 2 losing bonus points would be a big victory for them. User, says the referee. Successful line from the Scarlets. Now Archie Hughes puts it up and gives chase. Want to see the similar underneath. It does well. Gets the offload away towards Watchalong. Watchalong looking for options. Pops it up to Damien Willemse. Damien Willemse is up hands with one. Now puts that, it's almost a bit of a signature grabber through. And Nicholas returns the favour. He kicks it deep down the left-hand side. Going back is Watchalong. Inside is Sash Famagomezulu. He's going to give chase his own kick. It's not gone particularly far there. And it's been won back by the Scarlets. Done very well there has Jared Taylor, who's just come onto the park. Turnover ball here for Scarlets. Ominous signs here for Stormers. It's a really good carry that coming from Alex Craig, working really hard through the tackle. To the right-hand side goes Hughes. To no one. And now a bit of space. Now a lot of space opening up. But he's still going. It's a great run being there for Mac Page. Stormers' defense caught napping a little bit. Now down the right-hand side. Ball gets left behind. And he has to dive on it, does Archie Hughes. Does very well this young scrum off. They need to get the ball out there to Scarlets. Big counter coming from the Stormers. Adele Duvenok is going to get into his knees to try to get. He does get out as well. And we're going to go through the hands of Damien Willemse, who's set to dive on the ball. And a lot of pressure. 5 minutes up from his own try line, as Damien Willemse says. The Stormers scramble to get back. A lot of pressure there coming from the Scarlets. Billy Engelbrecht now. Desperately trying to find a turnover here of the Scarlets, but they've done really well to put them under pressure. Adele Duvenok goes to the boot, finds touch, but not out of danger yet. It'll be a line on the 22, or just outside the 22 for the Scarlets. So an attacking line for them was just over 5 minutes to play. A unconverted try would level the scores. Converted try would take them ahead. It wouldn't be a bonus point win, though, because they've only scored the 2 tries so far. Mac Page had a really strong game today. And he just backs himself, really, as the ball bubbles up and looks and sees a couple of mismatches there. And that's really poor from Damien Willemse. A bit of an awkward bounce, but to go straight through his legs. And it's been good to see a lot of the Welsh youngsters standing up. And Max Page, 20 years old. He's somebody to watch out for. You know, Archie Hughes coming on. He's 22 years old. Charlie Tucomi's coming. We mentioned he's 20 years old. You've got Tame Plumtree. You know, he's starting to really sort of step up his international career. He's 25 years old. He's going to play for a long time ahead for Wales. So you've got to try and look at these sort of positive when you look at the Welsh regions and the fact that they've got this really big, you know, rebuild to come and who they're going to invest in. And that's the big thing that the new coach, whoever it's going to be, is going to have to decide, you know, who is worth investing. And I think that's, I mean, our own Lloyd, for example, as well, a flyer of 23 years old. You've got Edis Me, he's 21 years old. There is a lot of youngsters out there. The big sort of question from a Welsh region's point of view is, which youngsters do you invest in, and which sort of the older players, man, you know, the older guard, do you kind of keep around them as experienced heads to try and help develop them? But the Stormers have stolen the line. That's a brilliant time for a steal. And Similani, under a bit of pressure, has done well with the Stormers, though. If there was ever a time for a line steal, that was the one. But then they lost it 4. No, in fact, I think there's actually one on the ground. It's a brilliant win there from the Scarlets. And I think it was Josh McLeod who came away with it. So turnover ball. Alex Craig waits for it, and he bashes it up. Big counter ruck coming though. And there is Max Page. Caught in the ball by Billy Engelbrecht. Hasn't gone any further than the ruck. Now Nicholas on a standing start gets hammered back. Yeah, there's just no attacking shape really for the Scarlets currently. And slow ball now for Archie Hughes as Scarlets start to try and set up a few options. They go nice and direct with Sam O'Connor. The loose said, oh, showing go from Archie Hughes. Looking for options. Archie Hughes steps away from that final commentary. Brought down by Warwick Lunt. And Warwick Lunt, well, that is phenomenal from the fullback. That could be a match-winning turnover. Brilliant from him. Archie Hughes did so well there. Bit of a show and go. Stepped inside of Sashfam Gomezulu as well. Brought down by Warwick Lunt inside about 10 meters away from the tie line. And Warwick Lunt up to his feet immediately and gets over the ball. It's so good. That from the fullback. I think if he doesn't make that turnover, I think Scarlets very well go and score. And the consequence of that turnover is now a Stormers penalty. And they've kicked themselves further down the field and out of a bit of danger. Yeah, it's a brilliant turnover. It's absolutely brilliant. And you don't expect to see, Warwick Lunt to fullback making a turnover like that in the 77th minute. So it's a really important intervention. A couple of changes. Alex Craig is off, and he is replaced by Dan Davis. So Scarlets emptying their bench, looking for, that's a horrible line over the top from Andrew Hugo Fenty. He's had a really poor season of lineouts, actually. And now Scarlets, that's a deception, though, to Leon Zass. It's almost like a trading of who wants to be worse and make the bigger error at the moment between the two sides. Now Stormers want to look to counter-attack. Long pass from Damien Williams, who goes to run to some lines with no other options. And he's putting a little banana kick. That is phenomenal from Wandisile Simelane. He had no other options, and he literally just brought up the banana kick. And he's done a 50-22, put the Stormers inside the 22. That's phenomenal work from him. I mean, it's the current trend here is, that is just whang. The spin on that. And the Stormers, who were having to desperately defend and were making mistakes, suddenly you're thinking, well, Scarlet's going to clinch this. They've now got an opportunity to try and score the bonus points. It's a good line as well. A bit of a set movement. Evan Lewis is short. 5 meters out now, the Stormers. Showing goal coming from Big Engelberg. Stormers need to be nice and patient here. Ball is available there. Andrew Hugo Fenn is going to look to pick up and go. He does. So his son and Evan Lewis backing him up. 5 meters out now, the Stormers keeping it nice and tight. Brock Harris, in his final few months of rugby, will be retiring at the end of the season. All good things must come to an end. How he'd love to end off with a decent URC campaign. Pick up and go from Andrew Hugo Fenn. A penalty advantage as well. He's going to be hold up, I think. He's been awarded. The try's been awarded. And that is what the Stormers need. They've been under a lot of pressure, but they finally got the bonus point try. It is 200 Hugo Fenter. And the Stormers, well, that'll be a big relief for John Dobson. And they've deserved it as well. But they're under pressure. And just when they needed it, they've come through with the bonus point try. That will put them, in terms of the log, onto 33 points. 1 point behind Munster. It'll knock Lions down out of the top 8. It will, I think Connacht, I don't think have played yet. Scarlets will at this stage now remain with 28 points. So at least from a Lions point of view, the Scarlets won't get any points out of that, which is quite good. But this is how close that top 4 is. Literally, something that simple, this of a result, is going to change that log a lot. 27 points to 17. 10 points with it. 30 points left on the clock. Sash Farmer Zulu to try and add the extras here. And he will do so as the camera filter has to adjust for the sunlight. So there it is. That's the game. 29.17. 20 seconds to go. The Stormers had to weather a bit of a storm. Excuse the pun. And maybe at times weren't as accurate as they'd like to be. Maybe allowed them to keep coming back into the game. But at the end of the day, when they needed, when the chips were down, a phenomenal 50-22 from Wandisile Simelane has been the difference, because that's allowed them the opportunity to get into the 22 and have a go, and they've remained patient and managed to get the results. Such good work from the Stormers. And Dumanaka now, with the clock gone red, goes back to Sashfam Gomezulu, who puts it out on his return, and the Stormers will get a bonus point victory. They will go back into the top 8. Their top 8 dream very much back alive. In fact, it puts them 1 point behind 6th. and 2 points behind 5th. So, you know, it really, really does get them back into that top 8. And at this stage, you know, the SA team's trying to get 4 teams into the top 8 for the first time this season. Looking pretty strong here. Lions very hard done by last night, but the Stormers have held on, held their nerve, and gotten the result. People, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys all next time. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well.